Hello and welcome everybody. We are day 3 already, and hands up, tell me in the comments if you've been here all week. Lou, why are you still on? There it goes. I wonder why Lou was hanging around on my screen there, but so yeah, if this is like your third call and you made the last 2, fantastic, let me know. If you were on with us yesterday when we were looking at live streaming, then I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway from that. Was there any kind of aha moment for you? And who did the homework and actually tried going live to themselves and doing the commenting and things? If you did, fantastic. But hey, I'm not judging here. Lovely to have you all back. Just spotted Ken from Scotland, nice and close to me over here. Janelle's been on all week. Randall's got his hand up. Loving that. Well done. We've got a hand pink waving. Yes. Come on. Brilliant. Let's just see. 3 for 3, Jeremy. Well done. Get your fresh coffee. Do that. Brilliant. And somebody went live there. Authentic Friends and Adventures. Don't you find that with YouTube? Obviously, the challenge with this is everyone's got kind of channel names rather than their individual names. And then I find out afterwards, oh, that was you. Yep. Brilliant. Glenn's been here all week. Sharon's good to be here. Yeah. Maggie. Love it. Love it. Right. Okay. So some of you have gone live, but you're here. So that's the main thing. And if you missed yesterday or Monday, the replays are in this playlist over here on this YouTube channel, or you're getting emails and you're being updated on that. So today we're looking at recording. Then tomorrow we'll be doing presenting and really using the virtual camera mic and specifically going into Zoom. We'll have a demo of that. And Friday is kind of up to you. We're going to have a Q&A day, and Paul will or has posted in here a link. We put a separate little form in that's just asking you to post your question in, and then we'll have a spreadsheet and we can just pull those questions forward and really sort of prioritize the big ones and do our best to get answers to everybody. Somebody messaged me and thanked me for that, or I saw it over in the YouTube community. Ecamm community, just saying about that you're loving having this profile to play with, and yeah, you've all got access to that. If you haven't got it, you need to get registered and you will get this profile that I've made, and there is a tutorial video in there showing you how to use it in the folder. But again, on Friday, I'd like just to show you a little bit more about what you can do with this and at least unpack what we've got, because there's some scenes in here that we haven't even looked at and I think you're going to be really pleased with. All right, so that's in there. Looking forward to Friday. That's kind of up to you as to where we go with that one. What we'll do really, if possible, I know there were a lot of questions coming in yesterday that were quite random, and I get that, this is your opportunity to ask questions about Ecamm. What I'd really like to try and do is the questions we're posting in today, if we can try and keep it on topic for what we're doing here as I'm going through about recording. I'll make a point of getting to those at the end. Obviously, if you've got other questions, Paul and Katie moderating here, we'll get to that and answer them. But I really want to stay focused on what we're talking about today. And most of these other ones we'll put over into that form and we'll cover on Friday. Okay. And while I'm here, actually, let me just give a shout out to Paul and Katie. Thank you so much for being in the chat and allowing me to get on here and just present and work through this, knowing that these guys are helping you out and answering your questions over there. So big thank you to Paul and Val. So today we are looking at recording. So remember when I showed you on day 1, you've got those 3 options at the top of your screen to either live stream or record or use the virtual camera. And so we've done live streaming. Recording then, who actually would say a yes or a no? Would you say that you use recording, you use the recording feature without actually going live? I get that when we go live, we record it anyway, but do any of you actually go just record only without going live? I'm just curious to see. Give me a yes or a no, and then we can pull that in and just get a feel for how this is being used. I get that for a lot of you, See, this is why I don't look at the chat, because this is pulling me off now. I get that for a lot of you. So yes, we've got a first yes coming in. You probably never really considered using Ecamm as a tool like this. Oh, lots of yeses coming through. You're going to prove me wrong now. Not for me. Thank you. There's at least one who's saying not for you. But yeah, all right, awesome. That's fantastic that a lot of you are already on this and you're already using it this way around. So let's think really what the difference is here. And I did touch on this yesterday when we were looking at live streaming, and I said, for me, when people say to me, should I just be going live or should I be recording? It really should come down to what is best for your audience. And so if you are recording for YouTube videos, for instance, what we do a lot, that's our main channel, our main platform is out on YouTube. So if I'm recording a YouTube video and I think, well, do I do this as a live or should I actually record it? I can edit it, I can zoom in and out, I could put B-roll in and really cut it up. I'm always thinking, what would be better for a customer or a viewer? And, I think sometimes we kind of think that people are interested in us, and we can start off these videos and these lives and we're kind of chatty, and it's lovely to spot people and go, oh, how are you doing? Oh, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. And just think like they've come to this video, if this is a YouTube video that might be, what might it be? How to use the camera switcher in Ecamm. Okay, they search that in, they get to the video, and they discover that it's alive, and there's an intro, and then someone's chatting away, talking about like I've just done at the start of this, and they're just going, I just want the training, just give me what I'm after. And I've been there so many times, and I'm just like, man, we're 5 minutes in, and he still hasn't got started yet. So, and keep in mind that the majority of your views are going to come from replays. So obviously I'm not dissing going live. I'm not suggesting that you should all stop going live and you should be recording, but put yourself in your viewer's seat, really. And, if you've put this, how to do this as your video title, and then it's this hour-long live while you're talking about loads of other topics because you got distracted by the chat, what's that like for somebody returning? Now, in a minute, we'll just cover what we could do actually for repurposing these videos, but I would say that if and we're obviously talking about the same tools, we're still using Ecamm whether we're recording or live streaming, so it isn't a one or the other and we're ditching Ecamm by any means, but it might be that I'm talking there about YouTube videos. It might be that you're wanting to record a podcast and actually you don't plan on going live, you just want to capture the content and then edit it later. It might be social media posts, doing vertical videos. We're going to show you how to do that in a minute. You can record like your Facebook ads, Instagram ads, your course material, sales pages needing a nice video on there, training sessions that you're delivering. So many scenarios where actually you want to just hit record without actually going live. And technically inside of Ecamm, the only difference is we're not going live at the time of recording. And I got to say, I actually find that really comforting. I don't know how many lives I've done, but I still kind of fear something not being right and the mic not being on, or there being something in the background. And as prepared as I can be, I can't help taking away that bit of a flutter, kind of thinking, oh, I hope this is all right. Like at the start of yesterday's when I hadn't actually changed the day over to day 2. If this was recorded, I just fix that afterwards. And at the end of the day, if I've read a script and it's recorded and it all goes wrong, I just delete the file and start again. So there's a lot of benefits in actually recording. Obviously when we're doing this is alive, and it's great, and there's a lot more energy around this than there would have been if you were just watching a recorded video. You're more likely to get engaged. It'll mean more to you. And also what we're able to do with this is Paul is then taking the videos from what we've done here, and he'll tidy this up and he'll put it up as a recorded video, or he can take snippets out of this and put those up as videos, either on, in vertical or in portrait like this. So again, we can do it as we can live, and then we can record it afterwards, or we can use the recording afterwards, or we can just go straight for a recorded version. And that's what we're doing and going to be demonstrating with you today. I would encourage you, even if we mentioned podcasting then, even if you haven't actually been doing video first podcasts, maybe you're purely doing it on audio and you're bringing your guests in and you're doing it over, as I say, just purely audio, do consider video. And I know Ecamm are really championing this. They've been away at PodFest last week, and they've got a podcast, The Flow. There are a lot of people that are really going, actually, no, let's do video first with this podcast. And at the end of the day, it's not taking you anymore. It's a much nicer way to record it. If I got a guest on here, even if at the minute I'm purely all audio, it's a really nice way to record it when actually we're sitting looking at each other on here, and it's a fantastic quality that comes through, and I can get just the audio version if I want. Or actually now I've got this video version as well. So why wouldn't I post that up to YouTube or somewhere else as a video version? And we're just widening that net, and we're letting people have more options as to how they can find us. All right. So is that kind of helping a bit, and hopefully selling a bit more this idea if you haven't really considered it before, or even if you are doing recording at the minute, maybe there's a few of the things we've just listed off there that you'll think, I hadn't considered that one really. Now, just very quickly, talking about YouTube, I hear a lot of people talking at Ecamm Academy that will say, I've been going live every day, I've been trying to do this, and no one's showing up, but I'm still going live every day. And I do think if genuinely, if your goal is to be seen as an authority, to position yourself as this authority in your space and really start to grow an audience, I would consider recording some YouTube videos, how-to videos on the pain points that your audience is struggling with. And I think you'll get a lot more views on that short, snappy how-to video. Let people get to find you there. And then when you're building up an audience, you're not going to be going live to nobody, because you're starting to build up this audience that they go, I really like their videos. Oh, they're going live. Yeah. Yep. We at Creator Camp last summer, was it last summer? It was only about 3 months ago. Creator Camp, little plug, Creator Camp, fantastic. Do make sure you get on a wait list if there is one yet for this year. But I did a session in there on how to record YouTube videos in under an hour using Ecamm. And I think Paul's going to pop it into the chat. We made a YouTube video out of it as well. But a great little idea of how to start putting content out onto a YouTube channel, and using all the tools we've got here, very quickly start creating some videos. All right. So then you can start doing your lives, and how much better to not be going live to nobody. Right. So let's come down to this. I think, one last thing, even if I did mention then about like what Paul's doing here really with these lives. And I think if you wanted to come at this as, let's go live and then we have a teaching bit, or we want to take snippets out of this, the best way to do it, and I know I'm giving Paul a bit of a hard time with this because I kind of jump around, but if I were doing this for myself, I'd got a script there with the real intention of, I want to go live, but then I want to make this into a video as well. The best way to come at this is to think of it in 3 parts. And we do a welcome at the start. We can look at some comments. We can have a bit of a chat. We can welcome people in. Then we have this kind of hard break where we're then going to, and we can tell people in advance, right, we're not going to be talking or answering questions in this next bit. This is the teaching. And then I'll come back at the end and answer any of your questions. So then, we can have a transition. We can put something in there that says, right, this is the start now. And I've seen people doing this a lot, certainly with podcasts. They'll have this live element first, and then they actually record the podcast. And then at the end, they come back. So think of it as 3 parts like that. So you can do this nice welcome. It could be 10, 15 minutes long. Then you get into your actual teaching, and you kind of forget about the audience at the side of you. You do a definite end to that recording, stop, pause, And then you can go, right, now let's come back into this live audience. Let me just see what you've been posting in there. So you're covering both that way. You get that live interaction, and you also get that hopefully slicker video at the end. Okay, I think that's it. Let me just quick back. Yeah, Lydia's just saying there the 3-section scenario works really well for repurposing. Just very quickly, I think there are a lot of, I'm trying to, I'll put that there so you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, it does make it very easy. Brilliant. So you're doing exactly what we're suggesting here. Love that. Yeah, I'm going to let these, I'm skipping over the questions that I know the guys, that's not going to help me talking about those. I'm going to let the guys in the chat do that. Fantastic, Dennis. Love that. That'll be really cool to see. And I think as well, it gives people a chance to, you know, maybe they've been listening to, I kind of do. In fact, I listen to, there's a pastor that I listen to is preachers, and I tend to listen to them as a podcast. But every now and again, I'm thinking I'd like to actually watch it over on YouTube, because it's another element. You know, there's something more to it when he's. I can see him, and he's. You know, I feel more like I'm there than I do when I'm just listening. So, yeah, lots of benefits for and against. Lots of benefits for it. Right, let me get down to this. We are going to. I'm going to come back over to this one, and we're going to look at how to actually record and set all this up inside of Ecamm for you doing a recording. So if you weren't on with us before, I've got another laptop at the side of me here. And what we're going to do is to just walk through this and do the mechanics really of how we set this up to record. I'll come back to that bit. Right, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to come onto Rachel's laptop, and you can see it there nicely. Right, so this, I haven't touched this since yesterday. This is the profile that we made for that. And so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to create a new profile. Now I can do that by clicking up here in profile, and I don't really want to start with a blank one because there's already things that I've got in here. So I can duplicate the current profile. And the reason I want to do this is we're looking here at, let me come back here a second. What I want to do, one of the first things I want to do is actually record this in 4K. Now, if this video is going up to YouTube, there are a lot of benefits for recording in 4K rather than 1080. So we're really getting to the maximum size we can do. YouTube will actually give you priority for a 4K video in the searches. And I don't know about you, but I've got a nice smart TV in our living room, and you can really tell the 4K videos against the 1080 ones. And so I kind of think as well, it's getting us future-proofed as well. If we could start creating 4K videos now, it will make a difference. And if you're on a phone and it's in 4K, well, even if it's not, you can actually pinch and zoom. Did you know you can do that on an iPhone now if you're watching back a video? So there are benefits to doing this in 4K. So because my base settings are going to change, we're going to actually recreate a profile over here. So I'm going to call this one, for example, let's call this 4K recording. And what this will do now is duplicate it. It looks exactly the same. And but you can see up here now that I am in 4K recording rather than my Ecamm challenge one, or the default one that we were just in. So I now in here can change this around, and things like my options. So the reason I like to do this is, you know, the times when I come to do a live and then I forget that I'm still in 4K, and then I'm going out to Facebook or LinkedIn, and I get this just in the second that I'm about to go live, it says error, your file's too big, and then I'm in a panic and I'm messing about with this. So I can go into this stream size up here and I can select 4K, assuming that you've got a camera that can handle it and give you 4K. And now this is all set to this one. So look at these options. So I'm now in 4K. I can change around this shape. We'll come to that one in just a minute. Maybe in here, I actually want to turn on this isolated video tracks. Now, what we're talking about here with isolated video, the ISO tracks, is if you would we've talked about podcasting previously in Ecamm. If we'd have been doing an interview, and let's, for example, think that this is me this side, and then we've got a guest sitting on that side. Well, if that's what I'd recorded previously, that would have been the file that I got out at the end. But now with ISO files that are included in Ecamm, I can actually say I want a clean feed of camera A, camera B, or guest 1, guest 2. Or, so we do the main recording and I still get the mix like this that's all branded up and it cuts between me and my guest, or it cuts between camera angles. But then when I get to the end and I look at my saved files, I've got individual, untouched, clean footage that's coming through on all of those individual feeds. So what you're seeing over here is we can say, so in this case, I've got camera A and camera B. So this camera switcher over here comes back into play here. We haven't really touched on this much yet. But camera A, I allocate and I can say, what do I want camera A to be? Or what do I want camera B to be? So I can tick those in there and it will now record a separate file for those. And I can tick down here, if it wasn't already, record isolated audio tracks. So again, what that's going to mean is that for every file that, or every recording we get, there'll not only be a clean video, but there'll be a clean audio. So those of you wanting to send this out as a podcast, audio podcast, you're going to get those lovely files at the end of this. Now, the other thing I'll do is we don't need to have this stream button turned on here, so I can turn that one off. And now I come straight in and it's expecting me to be recording. What have I got? Yeah, there we go. I'm just checking up my notes. I think I've got everything that I was wanting to cover there. Now, let me just demonstrate this. So if I come back in my profile, back to default, and just to prove this worked, if I come up here now to my stream size, see that it's back to the 1440 that I chose before. And it won't have picked up these settings. So because I'm going live, I don't necessarily want to, in this case, I don't want it recording all of those different files in the background. And I don't need isolated audio because it's only one feed that's coming through here. So, and look, and I'm still in this, my option is to stream and record. It's expecting me to live stream over here. I really find this useful, and you start to get this recent area up here. So it doesn't take much to jump from one profile to the next, and now I'm in this recorded profile. All right. Curious if that's kind of new to people so far. Yep, don't worry. Someone's just saying you can only see part of the screen. I was doing it because the screen doesn't quite fit, and I figured that was probably as much as you needed to see, really. It allows me, it just means that you're a bit more zoomed in on here. Right, now, okay, this is great for my YouTube videos, and if I thought, actually, let's change this around, and I can, although I can't see it now. Let's say this is YouTube 4K recording. Now, why don't we have a go at a vertical video? So I could again duplicate this current profile, and let's call this one vertical, and we're not going to do 4K, vertical recording. And in the same way that we could change that around in the previous profile, I can now come up to here to my options, and I'm going to take this one back to 1080. There's no point being any bigger than that. And my shape, I'm going to go with, see there's an option down here to do tall. And as I change that around, so that black area isn't going to get picked up in the recording. Now, I'm just going to do my command tilde and get rid of that. If I want to make this fit, then I can bring this up in here and I can still have that border around if I want it. Maybe I decide, do you know what, I don't need that. So that's no problem at all. But I can start to create scenes in here. And what I might do is, let's duplicate this scene here. And I might have, let's call this one present. And in this one, I don't want to be camera on the whole thing. I'm going to keep myself up there. And that allows me this bottom space to, I could put some bullet points in here. That's too little for me to grab. There it is. So, you know, we could do, and again, not particularly going through bringing these on and off, but if I set this with a transition to fly in from the left, and then as I'm working through this, you know, I'm doing my talk, and so we've just changed this around and it's going to come out into this size. Now, do I can go through those same settings. Do I want multiple cameras? This would be really good in this scenario. Let me just give you a demonstration of this. We're going to go, I'm going to just record this video. So I'm going to click record down here. What I might do actually, let's imagine that we'd got a guest in this bottom half. So I'm just going to duplicate this one again and call this one interview. And then, so I've now got me, present, and interview. And what I can do is option and drag that down. And then I could choose this. I would normally say guest one, and then I can bring a guest into that. For the sake of this, we're going to use this camera angle here. And so again, I could be doing a recording here. If it's just a reel or something I'm recording, then it might just want to go straight out like this. If I wanted to bring some notes in, I can do this and it will bring pop-ups on screen. If I want to cut to an interview, then I can come to this one. We can do some funky little transitions. Maybe you can come in from the right and you can come in from the left. Please, we're going to have plenty of time for answering questions on this. So that's what I was meaning earlier. Let's try and keep the Q&A today specifically around this while we're on this topic. But if I come back into the scene of me and then I come to interview and then both parties slide in like that, that's going to look really cool, isn't it? Now, obviously, you could do this as part of a live as well. So if you wanted to duplicate this and change it around so that you're going live, you don't have to duplicate these into different profiles. I just find it really nice to have a set of profiles there that I go, right, what am I doing today? Oh, this is a Zoom call. Right, I've got a profile for Zoom calls and it's set up without me having to go through it and think, oh, hang on a minute, I'm in vertical. I want to go back to portrait and making changes around. And I think that's kind of when you start to make mistakes. So I'm going to record this one. Very quickly over here, you can see it all happening there, can't you? So in the same way that when I go live, I had the countdown timer at the top here and it's telling me what to do. And down in this bottom right corner, it was telling me to finish my live. Well, the same thing is happening here, but we're in recording. So I could, if I wanted, pause that recording. Maybe I'd mess something up and I wanted to carry on and then I could keep that going again. I finish it, and again in the same way it gives me two options. Now let me just jump across to this interview. I want to see how this works with having two cameras on, and then so I can finish and end this recording, and I want you to see the different options that you get back at the end of it. So we'll click show file, and this is what I've been presented with. So when I click on this one, that's the main mix, if you like. And then what I've got here, these are my ISO recordings. So there is my camera coming in. all the way through, and then there is the other one. Okay, and then audio is over there. Well, I think we turned off, well, there isn't any mix because it's all coming through from one mic. Does that help? Is that useful to see how that comes in? So, you know, even if, what I like with this setup is, even if you were to record a vertical video here, and I know customers of mine that are in this chat as well that have said this before, you know, how do we do this? We want to go vertical, but we also want to have that wide shot as well. Well, this is a way to do it, is that, you know, you record in this vertical format, but knowing that afterwards you're going to have this clean feed. It would require a bit of editing maybe because there's nothing on there. We've got no overlays. When you bring a comment on screen or put a frame around it, none of that's going to carry on. It is just that nice clean feed. You can set that it will apply camera effects to the recorded video as well. So if maybe you changed it to be black and white, or you tweaked with the color settings, if you did that, then that original clean footage, your ISO, will also look like that. Okay, does that help? Now, one thing I didn't show you there is that when I hit record, it instantly started recording. You do have an option. Actually, it should be under recording here. Yes, record only countdown. So if I tick that and we record again, then this time it's going to give me at the bottom there a 3-second countdown, and then I can start. So that's personal preference, whether you want to have that little countdown. Probably makes sense, gets you ready, looking at the camera, big smile, and then you're off. Okay, let me come back over here. I'm just looking at my notes. Is that everything that I wanted to say about that? So you'd only really need this if the ISO element is only if you've got more than one camera feed coming in. So either you using multiple cameras or bringing a guest in. Right, so let me have a look at the comments and questions about what we've done here. And sorry. I'm just quickly checking because I've jumped over here. I don't want to have missed anything that's important. Just to say, well, you saw it in there as well. When we get to the end and it says show file, there is an option now for descript. So Ecamm have integrated descript in. So come the end of it, instead of just showing a file, you can head straight over into descript and you can edit over there. It will pull it straight in. That can be a really cool feature. So we've done 2 different formats, changing the shapes around. We could do the same thing if we wanted to with a square format. So we knew that it would just be there and ready for us in square. And we've put together today, the worksheet that you've got is actually showing you the different sizes and the best sizes to set your Ecamm preferences up to for those different formats, depending on where you're going to. So I want to be led by you. I knew this would be a shorter session today in the sense of it doesn't take me long to demonstrate recording, but we've got plenty of time now to have a look back in here and just see any questions. So please, as Paul's been saying, if you can give a Q with a colon, that will really help me. Paul, if and Katie, if I've missed anything higher and you wouldn't mind bringing that down, please, that'll be really good just to kind of copy and paste it back in for me. But I can see the challenge. If I go looking at all the questions, then 9 out of 10, Paul or Katie will have already answered it for you. Sorry, yeah, really good point to make actually about ISO video is only available on newer M1, M2 Macs. As a slight aside, the difference in these newer Macs is incredible as well. And if you're struggling with a MacBook Pro where the fan's kicking in and things like this, it really is worth looking at upgrading to one of the M1 or, if you can, one of the M2 Macs. Even if it's a Mac Mini, they're incredible and very affordable these days. I think they're like within the 600s can get you a Mac Mini right up with all the latest specs. So it is a good point, but I would really encourage you to be looking at upgrading to one of these newer Macs anyway. Are those switches from one profile to another? That's a really good point. You can actually put, if we were using a Stream Deck, and again, let's maybe not get onto that one now, but you can use a Stream Deck like I showed earlier or the other day. Not quite reaching on my cable. I've got a Stream Deck down here that I've got buttons allocated to it, and you can absolutely choose profiles on that. So a great way to use a Stream Deck would be on your main window of the Stream Deck to say, which one of these do I want to choose? And then you can click and Ecamm will magically turn over into that different profile that you want. Diana, a bit late. Don't worry, you can catch the replay. Have the interviews part been covered yet? Ask away if you want to about interviews. Wasn't particularly looking at interviews specifically, but if there's questions that you want to ask in, if it's relevant to what we're doing about recording, then yeah, let's have a look. If not, and again, a little reminder, Friday we're going to be having a big Q&A session. So if there is topics that you want to talk about, like interviewing, please put that into the form that Paul's sharing into the chat here, and we will come back and have more time on that then. Yeah. Would you use a second camera for displaying an iPad? Yes, absolutely. So if you've got an Ecamm feed coming in, you can just use the regular USB cable, the charger cable that comes with it, plug it into your computer, and Ecamm will see it as a camera source. So yeah, really good that it could be on display here, but you can also have that second feed coming in afterwards. Is there any way in Ecamm to control or enhance the quality of your guest? No. I think what I would do is to really sort of spell out to your guest or in advance of the call, try to talk to them and say, encourage them to be on a good internet connection and have the camera set right and things like that. You can, in the camera effects, Lou, control their camera. So maybe if they're sat really long way back, you can just zoom them in, and you can do some of those basic settings in there of warming it up and changing things. But really, I would encourage you to try, and if it's an important interview, could you get on a call with them in advance and just make sure that they're really set up for optimum quality coming through. There you go. See, I know this is happening. They're coming through. I've already seen that one. Want to record 4 individual streams from 4 different camera sources, each its individual file for later editing. Can you show it how it can be done? So yeah, what we were just doing there. And let me just point out that those ISO files will only be 1080 max. So you're not, I mentioned 4K earlier. 4K will be this main feed, but your ISO recordings are limited to 1080. I think it would just be way too much strain on this, and we'll end up kind of crashing our computers if that were the case. Let me come back to Rachel's laptop over here where I've got this set up, and this is what we were just showing. So isolated, so I can have up to 3 cameras attached here that will all record separate clean feeds. So there isn't space. Did you say there were 4? So we can't record 4 internally. You're only going to get 3 feeds coming through like that. Potentially, if you didn't want to mix it, how would that work? You could actually set one of your cameras to be this main recording over here. So, this could be camera 1. I'm forgetting that I'm in vertical. Let's come out of this and come back to my default. So I could set this to be camera 1, and then in my camera switcher, I could actually allocate cameras A, B, and C to be different cameras. And then when I came to this afterwards, I would have my main one, and then I would have cameras A, B, C. I think that would work. If you have interview guests, then as many guests as you have, they will all have their individual files come on. All right, and then you're going to get that collection. You just saw me have it here. Where did it go? I don't know where this is pulling from. I can't even find it without recordings. Show recordings. That's what I wanted. So was this today? This is Rachel's. There it is. Yeah, this is Rachel's computer, so it's set up differently to how mine is. But you get a folder like this then, and that shows you all of your individual files and all of your different audio ones, so you could handle it from there. If you were bringing it into something like Descript or Final Cut Pro, you can drag these individual files into it. It'll sync them up, or it should do, or you might just need to realign. But no, you won't. You shouldn't need to realign anything because they will have all started at exactly the same point. And then you can just switch between those different cameras. But that's definitely off topic. Normally have other hosts invited on screen. Find it quite hard to speak to them in the green room as not sure how to mute the stream sounds. Yeah. There is a chat, Diana, that if you're meaning you've got one person who's actually speaking and then you're wanting to speak to somebody else in the green room, you've got a separate commenting chat, and that really is the best way to do that to them. You can't actually have a conversation with them and it not come out onto the live. Sound issues with interviews. Not in depth. I think if a good practice with interviewing is asking guests to have headphones in and for you to wear headphones, so that there's not any issue with audio. That tends to be the problem that people have with it. How do we bring in the profile to Stream Deck? It's an option. So if you've got a Stream Deck and you've got your Ecamm keys there, then one of them will say profile. So you drag it over to your button and then you choose which profile. I really don't want to go any deeper in on that. I'm really trying to, this is a beginner level. And yeah, some of these Stream Deck things aren't really beginner level. Yeah, great stuff. Recording intros and outros for recorded sessions. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely, Dennis, you could do that if you wanted. You could either, I mean, if you were taking this, if I were recording this, knowing that it was going to be a recorded file, I could absolutely do a little intro, and I could either just stop that recording and then I could start again and do the main thing, and I could do the outro separately if I wanted, if it was easier afterwards to pull them in, or I just go through it and I have a gap in the middle, or I tend to put my hands up or something so that visually I can see, right, that's the bit I want to slice out. Yeah, lots of different ways of coming at that one. Yeah, it does kind of know what you will notice that under your camera effects, so it's easier to show on this one. So I'm just seeing there, does your camera know if you've got 4K? So if I haven't got the camera effects open, I'll pop it down here, and you will notice, can you see that, or do I need to zoom in a bit? You will notice that down here, under camera A, which it knows is my cam link, this is my Sony camera. So it actually tells me there that my resolution, the maximum, is 4K. So yes, you can actually see whether your camera is capable of 4K if you're not sure of that. This is good. Hopefully this is helping you all. Yes, Glenn. No, I'm sure, for this to be recording, we could have guests on here. You could end up with 10 guests all having separate files, all trying to record at 4K is just a recipe for disaster. So I think we got to accept that they're going to be 1080 for the recorded ones. So this is coming back. This is replying back to, I'm assuming that's what's happening. Or are these being pulled in? No, it isn't. I wasn't sure whether these are being pulled back from earlier, but they're not. This is actually you replying to people. So the maximum amount of cameras are 3. Yes. It was 2, and we squeezed another one out. And yeah, not many people need more than 3 cameras running here. Yeah, as Paul's saying there, it takes up a lot of disk space. And then we're going to have complaints coming in of people saying it crashed their computers and it's a terrible app. And so, yeah, I think it's very justified to keep it limited like that. Hand signals are great. Yes, for sure. Do I use a teleprompter? Yes. Not really set up to show you it here, but and it's a little bit off topic. We do have, yeah, I do have a video. Says something about how to maintain eye contact that I give you a setup here. But yeah, so I'm looking into a teleprompter here. I can put my notes up onto that. So my notes are up there. It allows me to keep this screen down here clear because in this case, I need to be able to do a live demo and let you see my desktop. So I don't really want my notes there. But yeah, lots of different ways. Maybe we'll look at that actually tomorrow when we look at Zoom calls, because that can work really well to be able to see the Zoom, the guests on there. What kind of camera? I was going to touch on this earlier actually. And I think you'll get this in your email on Friday, but we do have an equipment list. Oh, Paul's just popped it there. I didn't even see that one next up. So that's our gear guide that shows you the equipment that we use. And if you're interested in, that's another of our kind of products. We have an Ecamm Live Academy, but our other one is called Impact, and we help people set all this up and get the settings like this. So there's a couple of options. There's a couple of other things that we do, but certainly that equipment list will show you everything that I'm using right now to do this. Is there a way to align overlays to specific coordinates? Dina, kind of. Let me come back to Rachel's over here. We're going to just get a few more in and then we'll be out on the hour. But okay, let's look on this one. If I were to bring an overlay in, what have I got? I should have a few things down here. So for now, let's just bring in this. So I've got here, this was the thumbnail. So potentially this could be any sort of image that you're bringing in as an overlay. And what it will do is, let me just take off the overlays there. So I'm just doing that command tilde. Let me just show you that one again. That's really a valuable little tip. So when you're up here under window, hide main window control, you can see what the shortcut key is there. So that's what I'm pressing, is command and that little tilde. And it takes these off. That makes it so much nicer when you're laying things out than trying to work around these buttons. So what you'll see is that when I get up near the edge, I get this blue area, this sort of safety zone coming around the edge there. And it allows me to snap to that. I can also do it and it will snap to the middle there and it will snap to the center that way. So it will do those basic settings really, and it will also, if I were working with camera overlays and things, it will put them in the 2 halves as well, so I could be lined up in centered on the 2 halves. All right, and you can actually, while I've got it here, if I wanted, I can just use the arrow keys on my keyboard to tap up and down and go one at a time, or I think it's option to do 5 at a time, 10 shift. Thank you, Owen. If I hit shift on here, then it will jump. Is that 5 or 10 at a time? 10 pixels at a time. I don't know why Owen's not doing this live. He's my technical man over there. So all I'm doing is I'm tapping on the arrow keys. I can either go one pixel at a time, or if I press shift down and then do it, it'll move 10 at a time. So it does allow for some fine tuning over there. Yeah, hopefully that's kind of as much as you need. Let's come back to the chats. So there's not a private. So I can talk before the live to my guest, but there isn't a facility. And to be honest, I don't think I'd want that. That you could really get caught up in that if you'd got someone sitting waiting in the green room, and you're trying to have a conversation and making sure that you're not coming out on the live, but you're speaking over there and that they're not coming out. I think that again is a bit of a recipe for disaster. So ideally, if this is a big deal and you're getting someone to come on to a show, I would try to get them to come on an hour early or more and say, right, can you just come on? Can we just do a mic check and make sure everything's okay? And then when you come back into this same link in an hour's time, then I know that you're ready. Or let them come in and just sit in the green room, half an hour before the live if they're happy to, and know that they're muted and you can call them up. But yes, you've got a separate comments window to them. So you could be saying, hey, you're going to be up in 10. Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Thank you, Foley. I'm pleased. I'm kind of sitting worrying here thinking, I hope we're not going too off topic, but so that's encouraging to hear. Managed to do record sources. I'm trying to. I'm not sure what you mean there. Managed to do record sources. You mean in the multiples to have those? Oh, sorry, meant to be 4. Ah, right, that makes sense. So you tried that and that worked. I wasn't quite sure whether it would, but I thought it should. I know I've done it that way around, where actually maybe I'm sharing the screen. If I want to get a screen share and 3 camera angles, then I can record the ISO for the cameras and I can do the screen share as being my main scene that's recording. So there are little ways around it. And I've got to the bottom here, so I've caught up. Let's have a few more questions, or you can have an early night and go away and practice this. So your challenge today is going to be to record a video, and record a video in an alternative shape. And if I can just grab from here your PDF for today, we'll do the same thing as I did the other day. And if I just bring it onto me. So this is what we've given you for today, is this PDF that you can just see on there, really, the different destinations and the different resolutions that you can have there. All right. So you can go away and have a play with that. Have a go at setting up a profile. I find it really powerful. And somebody mentioned this to me after Monday's live, who's an experienced user of this, but had just missed this feature of profiles. So yeah, you can create separate profiles. Now I've got this branding around here for this challenge that we're doing. I wouldn't use this again. So I can create a profile, or I have created a profile over here in this case, that is my Ecamm challenge, January 24, I think I called it. Now, if I were to come straight off of this call and I'm going on to a Zoom call, then I don't have to go, oh, hang on a minute, I don't want all this branding on here. People will wonder what's going on. I've got a little badge in the corner. So I can literally just jump to another profile that I've got pre-made, that's ready to go for my Zoom calls, that's nice and clean, but I've got some scenes ready to be able to do screen shares and things. And then when I come back to this one tomorrow, I haven't got to go, oh, where's that logo? I need to turn that back on. And I just come back to this profile and it's good to go. So these are all little tips that will really help you save some time when you're doing your lives, doing your recordings. Do have a go at those vertical videos. You know, what a great way. There's a lot of traction on these vertical videos. Actually, you can just record some quick, off-the-cuff videos like that. Give yourself a 3-second countdown. Bang, you're in. You can record that video. Let it stop at the end, and it can take seconds, even in Finder, just to kind of trim off the start and the end, and there's your video made. All right. Got an iPad. Let's just see. Back to the chat. Nobby, good to see you. Got an iPad with a HDMI connected to run ScreenFlow, but it's not working. What are you missing? I probably, yeah. it'll be somewhere in the connection in there, I'm afraid, Nobby. It'll be, I would be sort of closing down and opening up things if you're doing it that way around. Now that we can crop in on these, I don't tend to use the HDMI version of it anyway. I would just screen record or connect this in like we mentioned to somebody earlier. Just put the normal power cable in, connect that across, and then you can just crop in like I've done with this little comments window here, the area that you want, and then that's just going to come straight across the USB. But the benefit of the HDMI one is that your iPad will see it as a presentation screen, and you can have notes on there that aren't coming across. So, but yeah, I can't get into that one, I'm afraid, Nobby, right now. Giving us a coupon code to subscribe with a discount. What is that for? For Ecamm? Somebody mentioned Pro. Now, I don't think Katie will mind me saying we will talk to you on Friday about our Ecamm Live Academy that I run. It's a 2-week long event that starts in 2 weeks' time, or just over a week. And Ecamm have very generously given everybody who comes into that Ecamm Live Academy a 25% discount off of a Pro license. So a big bonus for coming and join us in the Ecamm Live Academy. But more details about that, you'll get an email about our Ecamm Live Academy on Friday. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Lindsay. I know who you are now. Keynote. Yeah, I guessed what I realised what you mean, Nobby. Don't worry about that. Yeah, thank you, Paul. Yeah, the replays will be available. That's the beauty of it over here. And pop a comment down underneath the video if you want to, and I'll catch you down there. So good. Geeks on Tour's been learning a lot today. Pleased to hear that. Tomorrow, then, we'll be looking at using the virtual camera, sending this out to Zoom. I think that's probably where a lot of you are using this, or there are more and more users that are using it. That would be my main use for this. Every time I go on a Zoom call, whether it's a coaching call or a group session or anything like that, I always come through Ecamm. Just makes the whole thing so much slicker. So we'll have a go at that tomorrow. I'll let you have a look at my teleprompter here. We'll actually go to a Zoom call, and I'll let you see how all that works. So there's a lot more to pack into tomorrow. So we've had a bit of an easier session today, more time for Q&A, and get some sleep before we go into tomorrow's one. Good stuff. Thank you for the feedback. I'm pleased that everyone seems to be enjoying it, and I'll see you same time tomorrow. All right. All the best, guys. Thank you. Bye.